Magazine covers, TV cameras, perfect scores from judges who hate perfection, a statistical impossibility made flesh. Yet the hero's journey doesn't end at the trophy ceremony. That's usually where it begins. Then the other photos, the ones they don't sell at bodybuilding expos, sleeping in your car, pissing in jail toilets, street corners, glory gone, identity shattered, your brain cells turning against you like a civil war in your skull. That's the Mentzer trajectory, a rocket launch followed by a catastrophic re-entry. Even NASA couldn't plot a more perfect arc from glory to gutter. Most books die, quietly, in remainder bins, in landfills, digital ghosts. This one won't. John Little knew Mike Mentzer for 20 years, saved his letters, recorded his words, watched the brilliant mind fragment like overworked muscle fibers. Great biographies don't just tell you what happened, they show you why it matters. Little's mission statement is brutally simple: present the truth about Mike, good and bad. Not because it sells, not because it feels good, but because truth was the only thing Mentzer worshipped, his religion, his addiction, his downfall. Randy Roach's foreword calls it a forensic deep dive into the golden era. That's crime scene vocab, Undertaker talk. Expect DNA evidence of an industry built on lies. Little picks through the bones with bare hands. Blood spatter analysis of careers ended for asking the wrong questions. Little has the receipts. He wasn't watching from the cheap seats. Articles, letters, interviews, Mentzer's own words. Raw materials, not processed cheese. The whole picture laid out on the slab. The shine and the rust, the triumphs and the train wrecks. Not just the highlight reel, but the price tag paid in blood and sanity. The thing about the golden era is that it wasn't that golden for most. Especially not for those who pulled back the curtain, who questioned the machine, who saw the strings and named it puppeteers. Mentzer's life wasn't a victory lap. It's a trek through triumph and disaster, gym to gutter to grave. The unvarnished truth: Mentzer lived, Mentzer fought, Mentzer died, his ideas remain. Plato's cave, shadows on the wall, protein powder, 8 workouts a week bullshit, reality for the blind. Mentzer saw through it, broke the chains, staggered out the darkness, eyes bleeding from the light. He came back to tell the others, train less, train smarter, follow science, not fairy tales. The cave dwellers didn't celebrate. The industry runs on shadows. The supplement gods, the contest kings, soft-handed men counting dollars while others count reps, saw their protein powder empire threatened. Hard to sell false hopes to men who found real answers, but you don't kill someone's cash cow without consequences. And so begins our American Odysseus, not a title playing footsies with symbolism, the perfect framework through which to understand Mentzer's epic life. The intelligence thing is obvious. Odysseus was the smartass of Greek mythology, the guy who figured out the Trojan horse while everyone else was still trying to punch through walls. Then there's the battles with the monsters of the fitness industry, the siren song of alluring fame, the divine punishment of mental illness. The hero is smart enough to see through the bullshit, but not always strong enough to step over it. Mentzer bought the same, wait, but what if we thought about this energy to bodybuilding? An industry where brains rank somewhere below spray tans and dick size in terms of importance. The fitness establishment, lurking like the Cyclops within its cave of commerce, reacted like Polyphemus when Odysseus stabbed out his eye. Blind rage, blood everywhere. The power dynamics were perfectly mirrored. Odysseus battled capricious gods who could erase mortals with a thought. Mentzer fought industry titans who could disappear careers just as easily. A pen stroke, a phone call, you're gone, welcome to homelessness. Odysseus pissed off Poseidon, Mentzer pissed off Arnold. Arnold was everything Mentzer wasn't. High volume, high charm, high bullshit. Their clash wasn't philosophy, it was chemistry, oil and water, fire and ice. But heroes don't just overcome monsters, they kill parts of themselves too. Odysseus trapped by Calypso, navigating between Scylla and Charybdis. Mentzer, trapped by the internal demons of his own mind, navigating between industry whoredom and intellectual purity. Not a footnote, central to understanding his Odyssey. Fact: brilliance and madness share synaptic real estate. When one moves in, the other's already packing its bags. Little's book doesn't airbrush the decline, he doesn't hide behind medical terminology. Mental illness isn't white coats and clean hallways. The disease doesn't give a fuck about your perfect delts or perfect scores. It's sidewalks becoming stages for one-man shows nobody paid to see. The phone calls at 3 a.m. when demons run the switchboard. Mentzer ranting about objectivism, conspiracies, about the tiny men riding his nervous system like electrical cowboys. The homelessness, the paranoia, the God complex blooming like toxic algae when genius curdles too long in isolation. The American part matters too. The American dream, the American nightmare, the American contradiction, wrapped in one jacked package. We can't look away from beautiful disasters. We love contradictions the way we rubberneck car crashes. A physical specimen with philosophical depth? It's like finding out your priest deals meth or your accountant plays bass for Black Flag and drinks blood. In a culture of monkeys, Mentzer demanded evolution. That's why this book makes your brain itch in places you can't scratch. American Odysseus hammers you with myth until your teeth rattle, lifting this read above the usual flex and pose bullshit. Mentzer wasn't just a bodybuilder with a library card. He was a thinker, a reader in a world of picture books. Most bodybuilders sell supplements. Mentzer sold philosophy. While others sought bigger arms, he sought bigger questions. Little maps the transformation of Mentzer's intellectual awakening against Zarathustra's metamorphosis. The camel bearing the industry burdens. The lion destroying false idols. The child creating new worlds. The hero's journey for a man who transformed more than just his body, but couldn't save himself. Like Odysseus, too clever by half, Mentzer weaponized rational thought in an industry allergic to thought itself. The kind of man who would rather burn his career to the ground than smile and nod at bullshit. Football didn't cut it, Mentzer said once. I wanted something I could pursue myself. Translation: I don't play well with others. Football has teams. Football has coaches. Football means following someone else's playbook. Mentzer needed his own religion. Truth, not popularity, was his god. Not magazine covers, not Mr. Olympia trophies. Just cold, hard, beautiful truth. Later, when the muscles started to feel like a prison, he said, if I could go back, I'd reverse the priority. More mind, less matter. That's the Mentzer this book hunts down. A story about what happens when the Superman discovers kryptonite inside his own skull. Great power comes with great vulnerability. The same intensity that creates breakthroughs can create breakdowns. The shadow side of the will to power. The fitness industrial complex. They sell you equipment to build muscles you'll never need, to lift objects you'll never encounter. They sell you powders made from the same slurry they feed livestock to fatten them faster. Glossy magazines with airbrushed demigods who can't even take a clean shit without pharmaceutical assistance. They were selling more reps, more supplements, more hours in the gym, while he quietly unpacked science and rational thought showing less was actually more. Mentzer's GQ, good looks and articulate speech was the Trojan horse the bodybuilding establishment eagerly wheeled in through their gates, putting him on magazine covers, never suspecting what lurked inside. What they missed was the philosophical insurgency packed within. Mentzer didn't just win trophies, he challenged the entire grift. Mentzer committed the only unforgivable sin in America. He thought for himself. High-intensity training, heavy duty, then get the fuck out. Let recovery happen. Let growth happen. Stop masturbating with dumbbells for hours believing more equals more. The industry machinery seized, cannot compute, does not process. You can't sell do less to people conditioned to buy more. How do you sell 12 kinds of pre-workout to someone who trains twice a week? How do you hawk recovery supplements to disciples of minimalism who actually recover? The industry accidentally platformed its own revolution. By the time they realized their mistake, it was too late. The gates were open. Mentzer's ideas had escaped into the wild. The establishment fought back hard. Their entire economic model was under attack from a heretic they had crowned. He became untouchable, cursed, blacklisted, all for suggesting that maybe the Emperor's dick was showing and his new supplements were bullshit air and advertising. The irony, they built the perfect Trojan horse themselves, then acted surprised when the warriors of reason emerged at night to burn their profitable mythology to the ground. It's one of the most successful intellectual industry infiltrations in sport history. A perfect case of commerce undone by its own shallow values. Unable to see past the gleaming exterior to the revolutionary ideas concealed within. Here their endings diverge. Odysseus eventually limped home, murdered his problems, fucked his wife, reclaimed his throne. Mentzer never got his kingdom back, died with his genius unrecognized, but his ideas outlived him. Seeds planted in scorched earth, flowers growing from a corpse. The 1980 Mr. Olympia contest was the moment an entire subculture was forced to confront its own bullshit. Bodybuilding's equivalent of a child accidentally walking in on a parent fucking a stranger. A sudden, irreversible moment of disillusionment. Sydney, 1980. The stage lights burn like prison spotlights. Mentzer stands there, geometric perfection, muscle fibers exactly where slide rulers and biology textbooks say they should be. Then the fix. Arnold, 5 years retired, smaller, smooth, looking like something you'd find behind a funeral home rather than an opposing dais. Arnold wins, just because. The crowd's boos sound like air escaping a punctured lung. This wasn't about trophies or titles, it was about raw power, about who controls the narrative, about whose friends sit at the judges' table counting dollars instead of muscle striations. Little exposes the behind-the-scenes backdrop of industry warfare. Joe Weider, bodybuilding's Vince McMahon, and Arnold locked in a Byzantine Cold War involving competing gyms, rival magazines, bodybuilder unions. Weider had literally sworn under oath about Arnold's career-ending character defects just months earlier. Game of Thrones with protein shakes level bullshit. CBS Sports, not exactly the ethics police of athletic coverage, actually refused to air the footage because the judging was so blatantly corrupt. It's like McDonald's refusing to sell a burger because it might be unhealthy. When you violated standards that make television executives uncomfortable about integrity, you've achieved something truly spectacular. Something inside Mentzer breaks that night. Not all at once, slowly, the way precision instruments break. One microscopic stress fracture at a time until the whole perfect system disintegrates into dust. Getting publicly fucked in front of the whole world forced him to see the blood truth. This sport was never about achievement. It was about marketability, politics, and who would best serve the industry's profit margins. All that pain, all that sacrifice, all that precision, worthless against the machinery of commerce. American capitalism in its purest form. The same rigged game that selects presidents, pop stars, and best-selling authors. Arnold didn't win because his physique was superior. He won because he was Arnold. Sometimes the name on the label matters more than what's actually in the bottle. In its own twisted way, it might have been the best thing that happened to Mentzer's legacy. Had he won, he might have just become another meaningless face on a disposable protein jug. By losing in such spectacular fashion, he gained something more valuable: intellectual martyrdom. But like all good Greek tragedies, the hero doesn't get to enjoy the victory parade. Above all else, this isn't a bodybuilding book, it's a story of decomposition. Every beautiful thing rots. Muscles just meet with temporary purpose. The decay of the American dream, a pyramid scheme wrapped in a flag. The maggots don't wait for permission. It's what they don't show you in muscle magazines. The after photo, the final pose, no spotlights, no audience, no dramatic exit. A dilapidated apartment, two brothers, Mike and Ray, found dead days apart. The smell, the flies, the quiet expiration of extraordinary men. No sirens sang, no gods wept. The hero's journey complete. Not the version they sell you, The version that happens when heroes live among us with chemical imbalances and no healthcare. American Odysseus isn't beach reading, it's a scorched earth biography, a fight with history, an extinction event for bullshit. The page count might scare some off. Good. But for those who need the real, bodybuilding's exposed guts, a mind in revolt, a life's jagged edge, this is your shot. Mentzer's final set, the last word, a man who escaped Plato's cave only to discover the real monsters weren't the shadows on the wall, they were the men who controlled the light. It's not a philosophy lesson, it's a warning bell. See too clearly and they'll make you drink hemlock. Question too loudly, they'll nail you to wood. Tell too much truth, they'll find your body days after it starts to stink. Nobody wants prophets, they want prospects. Nobody wants revolutionaries, they want repeat customers. Mentzer, camel, lion, child, dead, his metamorphosis complete. Yours barely started. Every morning you make a choice. Stay asleep or wake up. Keep swallowing the pills or spit them back. Follow the program or set fire to the gym. Most choose sleep, pills, programs, blend in and succeed or stand apart and get crushed for it like bugs under boots. Little doesn't write biography, it's a murder mystery where we all did it. In the gym, with the barbell, with our worship of perfect bodies hiding imperfect minds. We built the funhouse mirrors that reflected Mentzer's distorted ambitions back at him. We sold the tickets to the freak show. We created the system that rewards monstrous development, then discards the monsters. We pointed and laughed when Mentzer couldn't find his way back from the ledge. When the voices started, we buy the powders, the magazines, the empty promises of transformation. American Odysseus, the hero who never makes it home, the traveller lost in the wilderness of his own making. Maybe you'll read Little's book, maybe you won't. Ignorance is bliss, right? Keep huffing that gym funk. Maybe you'll keep chasing the pump, the burn, the temporary self-delusion of one more set, one more supplement, one more perfect physique that might finally silence the voice that whispers, never fucking enough. Keep telling yourself you're getting somewhere, but maybe after the last page and that silence that follows, you'll catch your reflection. Not in the gym mirror, maybe in a rain puddle, or a darkened window at 3 a.m. And you'll see the hollow space behind the eyes, and you'll finally ask the right question. Ask yourself, what is all this lifting really for? What exactly are you trying to build? What are you trying to wall out? Ask yourself, how much is enough to fill the empty spaces? Between accepting conventional wisdom and questioning everything, between hiding our struggles and embracing them as part of our story. Mike Mentzer, perfect specimen, imperfect human, relentless questioner, chose the harder path at every turn. His journey reminds us that the most impressive strength isn't measured in pounds moved. It's measured in the courage to lift yourself repeatedly after every goddamn fall. It's showing us how to navigate our own metamorphosis without drowning when the waters rise. It's a roadmap for anyone seeking to move beyond what is, beyond what isn't, to what could be. Mentzer reminds us that changing the game often means losing the game, at least by the old rules. But sometimes, just sometimes, the new rules you write become the legacy that matters.